Welcome back to Across the Glass Sea, a live play 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons podcast. I am your Dungeon Master, Nathaniel Miller, and I'm joined in studio by...
Ben Gilbreth playing Temerian Social Spells Narsalay.
Nice.
I've had them stocked for like 3 days, and I may not use them today, but they're here and they're not going to be wasted.
Yes. We're also joined by...
Michael Mazul playing Lichen Mule.
Awesome. How about a recap for you guys?
Yes, please.
Last time in Tyroa, our heroes cast off from the Gilded Lady with their pockets lighter, but their hearts more full of treasure, and you began your journey towards Fort Martalian. As the seas grew warmer and the weather became sunnier, you all discussed at length your next steps. As you neared the fort, you discovered a shipwreck, and upon closer inspection, you realized they were victims of an acid wyvern type of dragon light that some call a draken. You all were set upon by this creature, but prevailed in a near life or death struggle. As you needed repair, as well as to complete your mission for Lady Cassian, you finally put into Fort Martalian. As the sun sets, your boat docks. There's a little welcoming committee there, and as they begin to greet our party, who knows? What else? What other adventures awaits you all across the Glass Sea? So you guys have arrived at Fort Martalian. It's warm. It's sort of, the air is thick with humidity, like a hot summer night. You have pulled into this rocky inlet, around which there is, on half of it, there is a little village with huts and one larger building that Admiral Cassian has pointed out as the Tavern. And then there's a quay, and then there's a rocky outcrop, sort of like a hill, upon which a castle that is built, a fort. There's a mix of palisade, logs, and sun-bleached stones. The banners of the Admiralty and the banner of the Western Fleet, which is the fleet that Lady Cassian is in charge of, or is here. There's a number of ships here, and on the dock there are 3 figures, a half-elf, a human, and another elf that looks different than, like, you've never seen an elf that looks quite like this. They have more tanned skin, fiery red and orange hair, and their ears are longer and pointier than anyone that you've seen before, but they are all wearing the uniform of the Admiralty.
Would I have any idea who or what this red elf is?
Roll a history check.
History.
We'll say DC 15.
Oh, didn't make that. That's the 12.
Yeah, it's a weird looking elf. Maybe they're making some kind of fashion statement, dyeing their hair. You're not sure.
Also, it's really hot here. Is it always like this here? I think Tam does not like the humidity. This wet heat is not his jam.
Yeah, Lady Cassian has produced a fan from somewhere and is fanning herself. And she's like, yes, here we're in some of the southernmost reaches of the Admiralty's power base, and so it gets quite warm down here.
Well, I don't mind the heat. I feel sticky. This is, like, everything's... Oh.
Yes, you don't have to wear a coat, but there are trade-offs to be had here.
Okay. Ugh.
You also notice there's a lot of bugs.
Oh, I think Tam doesn't mind the bugs. It's the heat. Heat and the humidity. Oh.
As you guys pull in to the dock, the 3 Admiralty officers snap to attention and they salute, and they hail Lady Cassian and they greet her. She walks off and shakes each of their hands. Captain Thistlecord is like right at her right-hand side, and they're all sort of greeting one another. And they call you guys to come over. And Lady Cassian says, I want to introduce you to some of my captains who serve under me in the fleet. They are trusted allies. This is Captain Tomas Pasquale, who's the half-elf that you noticed. Captain Domin Cassian, who is a human woman who looks a lot like Lady Cassian, a little bit younger.
Bit of nepotism.
Yeah. And then she introduces the other elf as Captain Uleth Urudalim, and they're a sort of taller elf man. They greet you guys. Roll insight checks for me on them.
Oh dear, that's a 9. I rolled a 4 though, so it could have been worse.
I rolled a 4 and I get nothing. So instead, Lichen walks up and is just like, Captain? Captain? I'm a captain as well. Nice to meet you. Captain, 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 Captain.
And Tam is doing what Thistlecourt is, not, it's somewhat deferring to Lichen in the chain of command. But when we are introduced to the red elf, the fiery elf, I think Tam would, in Elvish, give a greeting and do like the traditional Kingdom of the Wood greeting, which is this kind of hand over the heart with a light bow, just to see, because if I have like this is there anything we have in common with this with this person?
Roll, I don't know, make a charisma check of some sort.
Oh, good.
Persuasion. I mean, you can do a flat charisma check, persuasion, performance.
I rolled a 3, -1 becomes a 2.
This fiery-haired elf just spits on the ground and says, "Welcome."
All right, then.
And doesn't take your hand. You're speaking in Elvish, like the language of the Kingdom of the Wood. He actually turns to one of the other ones and kind of under his voice, but not really trying to hide what he's saying. He's like, "What is this barbarian pig speak?"
Oh, wow. I think Tam was not bothered by the lack of friendliness until that. And then he's just like, all right, then.
The half-elf clocks this, and he's like, no, don't mind Ulith. He's from the far south, and he doesn't, he's not really, his kind don't go in for manners very much, but he's a competent captain, and he's a devil in a fight, so my name's Thomas, put her there, and he sticks his hand out.
Definitely shake his hand.
Yeah, he's like, he's like that with everyone, even his best mates, he's like that with, so don't pay it no mind. And Thomas is clearly like, he's trying to make up for...
Smooth things over.
Yeah, smooth things over. You get the sense this might not be the only time that this red-haired elf has done this sort of thing.
Tam knows all about those kinds of things.
Right. So, Lady Cassian says, "All right, well, let's go up to the fort, and there are much things that we need to discuss. Would the two of you mind attending with us? And I'm sure that these captains would like to hear your perspective on some of the things that are going on. Anything that you've shared with me, feel free to share with these three as well. They are my trusted officers and compatriots. But of course, whatever you don't want to share is fine too." She's kind of giving you leeway.
Tam just defers to Lichen in this regard.
Yeah, no, we'd love to join. I want to get to know some of my fellow captains here a little better, and just kind of figure out where we're going. We already talked. If it's still all right with you, I think we'll spend the night, get our ship resupplied, get at least a night's of rest after that poison serpent thing, and then we'll go from there. But we could be of aid or talk compensation. We'd be happy to do that.
Lady Cassian says, "Yes, we will have our shipwrights come and attend to your ship. No charge necessary. I'm thankful. I'm personally indebted to you both for your rescue, both not of me, but also of Captain Thistlecourt. And so, of course, we will take care of you all free of charge. There are quarters up in the fort, but there are also, if you would like, there's a tavern." She points at the big blocky building across the bay. "It's not much, but I'm told that there is a hearty dinner menu there with some good ale and soft beds, if you wish. It's a little bit, I think it's a little bit of an in-joke amongst the people who live in the village down here. They call it the New Old Bucket." And so, apparently, there used to be a tavern here before my time called Old Bucket that was wiped out in a storm, and so they built a new one, and they called it the New Old Bucket.
I think when you said in joke, because now I'm imagining in joke, so Tam I think laughs far too hard at that.
Yeah.
I like that. That's good.
So yeah, they start heading back up the dock. You see there's some stairs carved into the rock up to the fort. You see that Vincent sidles up to Lichen and he's like, "I would like to go to the tavern and just, kind of catch the lay of the land, if that's okay with you, mon capitaine."
Of course, Vincent. Have fun. We'll catch up with you later.
Should you really tell him to have fun? Do you think that's a wise level of...
He skulks off.
of off the leash?
Yeah,
Here.
I think so. Well, there's basically Admiralty everywhere. I know he's
Yeah.
brash, but he's been helping us. I don't see any harm in letting him out of sight for a bit.
Oh, out of sight is fine. I just didn't know what sort of free reign we were giving him, or you were giving him. And also, Cavill, whoever you are,
Yes.
are you going to leave us here? You think you're going to find a ship from this place?
He he like looks kind of uncomfortable actually. He's like, well, I was just imprisoned from Admiralty and now you brought me to Admiralty base, so
I mean, we told you that's what we were doing.
well, if you recall, I tried to leave a couple times, and you didn't let me, so if you wouldn't mind letting me tag along a little bit more and dropping me off, I don't know, somewhere else, that would be good. He seems to be a little nervous to like just be like around
Oh yeah, I mean he's
all these admiralties.
Is he gonna meet up with his pirate buddies next to the police precinct?
Yeah, I don't think so. So yeah, he's like seems to be cool to like stay on the ship for now. But Sel does disembark for her to find a ship back to the Kingdom of the Wood.
Tam will salute her very properly. Lady Solarian, it has been a pleasure serving with you.
And you as well, Satam. And she gives an appropriate Kingdom of the Wood farewell. May the leaves ever fall under your feet.
I've always loved you.
Do you want to go on a date? No, she doesn't.
Tam,
She's seen too much of Tam to be interested. But then she says, like, but, you know, I might be here for some time, so you never know. It doesn't look like there's any merchant ships in harbor right now, so I might be waiting here for a little bit. But it's been a pleasure sailing with you, and you as well, Captain Bartholomew.
You as well, Sel. You're an incredibly capable one.
Thank you. You are an incredibly capable captain. So if you guys head up the stairs with the captains and with the admiral, you are ushered through a sort of small wooden door in the side of the wall, and there's kind of a courtyard, and there are soldiers, sailors drilling. There's another larger gate that they could probably get more equipment or horses through, but this gate that you've sort of come through is just a small door, and it's really right on the side of the cliff face. Like, it would be very hard to like batter this door down because the stairs go right up to it. You go up another flight of stairs to a main level, and you go through a set of doors to, and you're in a large open room. There are dark stones that sort of line the walls here, and it's cooler here, out of the heat of the day.
Thank Hachiman for that.
And yeah, make perception checks.
Captain, you wear so much clothing and it's this hot all the time? Oh man, I'm rolling good today. That's an 8.
Yeah, only 13.
It's always good when your modifier is higher than what you roll.
With a 13, Lichen notices that there are several stones spaced throughout the room that are emanating some kind of vapor or mist. It looks to be arcane.
Magical air conditioning.
Yes, yeah. If you put your hand up to one, it's like noticeably cooler than the rest of the room.
That did not click for Lichen immediately. I thought it was like a magical, like, truth zone mist or something like that.
Yeah,
This is your distrustfulness immediately snapping.
Literally, like immediately, like hairs on end, and then dawns, oh, it's making this room cold.
It's a fan.
Yes. Admiral Cassian hears you, Tam, and says, yes, it is uncomfortable sometimes, but it is, of course, appropriate for my station and rank to wear a certain sort of uniform and comport myself in a certain manner. And so, despite the discomfort, I try to keep up appearances, at least while I'm on duty. And she smiles.
Tam nods, but also mops sweat from his forehead.
She's like, and it's also not like I've had a lot of changes of clothes from where we've been the past week or so.
I think Tam is realizing the benefit of this lack of real rigid command structure. He is enjoying the freedom of Lycan's captaincy more and more. Like the more he sees, like, oh, yeah, I could fall right back into that, but that'd be terrible. Like, he's noticing all the, structure and, all the uniforms that are, they've probably been given demerits or problems if their things are out of line. And he's going, I've not buffed my buttons in 3 weeks. And it's great.
Yeah, you pass a group of 4 or 5 Admiralty soldiers as you were coming up here who were just being chewed out by a sergeant-type figure for not having creases in the right places in their uniforms.
Tim would have nodded to them as he walked past, just in nothing but empathy.
What's Lichen's reaction to that?
To getting chewed out for clothing?
Yes.
Ooh. He kind of just nods, like looks at them and is like, yeah, you should have, gosh, you guys look sloppy. Which is hilarious because I'm pretty sure Lichen is still in his old sailing coat with no shirt on underneath still. But he's just like, you guys, clearly this base doesn't have a tailor on it, Tam. This is,
Dress for the job you want.
I haven't seen a single pair of wingtips yet.
Oh, no. Oh.
Yes, it's very disheveled. It looks like, make a perception check for me, Tam.
A perception check? Come on.
Or Lichen.
There we
Either
go.
one of
That's
both of you
23.
make perception checks. 23.
Roll good when I'm looking for wingtips, apparently.
12.
Tam, you see no wingtips anywhere.
Captain, what's a wingtip?
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
birds have
mysterious.
wingtips. There was one that flew over.
You see, I'll give you 2 pieces of information with the 23. One, you see a soldier sort of sitting in a corner who is sewing a patch onto his own clothing. You don't think they have a tailor here.
And not like a regimental patch, like a repair patch.
Yes. Also with the 23, you look around and you're like, there is probably, you're just sort of like, okay, with this size of like fortification and like, okay, like those look like the barracks, those look like guard rooms. There's probably, all told, less than 2,000 soldiers and sailors that are stationed here. It is a fleet, but it's small.
Got it.
You know that there are much larger divisions and fleets of the Admiralty out there.
To kind of sidle up to Lichen and say, Captain, I'm realizing I may have been making an assumption that Lady Cassian had a bigger fleet or had more weight to throw around than she does. And just wanted to point that out to you in case you'd made the same assumption as me. So it may be that if we, based on our discussion and what we try to do, it may be that we need to gather more friends. I thought she was one of those that, if we're friends with her, then we're gonna get in anywhere. But it would seem she's not got quite the clout that I had originally anticipated.
Yeah, I kind of picked up on that a little bit as well. I mean, she definitely has some pull, but regardless, I don't really want to rely on any type of admiralty to give us any type of leeway here or anywhere, really, because there are people in the admiralty that just don't care. They're going to do what they want, and so I don't even know if her name would pull much rank with even people that do know her, maybe, if they're just out to do bad.
Well, I meant just support in general, but yeah, agreed.
Yeah, let's
Like
see.
she doesn't have the size of support that I had originally thought. Not her weight as necessarily. She commands a fleet. Oh, it's a junior fleet.
Well, let's see what her and the captains have to say before we make too many judgments.
Oh, of course. Just again, I had made an assumption and was unfortunately made aware that assumption was just that, an assumption.
I'll say also with the 23, you realize that there are no ships that have skeletons or anything like that here, nor are there, you remember the one ship where there was just sort of a galley of rowers that were like animated skeletons chained to oars. There are no like oar-driven ships here. They're like
Sailing ships only. Got it.
Yes. So you guys get in there. There's the room is cool. There's an Admiralty soldier in a crisp uniform who has a tray with little glasses with some kind of drink in them, with ice in them as well. You see a table with a map of basically from the southern border of the Kingdom of the Wood all the way to the shores of the Admiralty, and from kind of this location all the way sort of midway across the Glass Sea. So it's a pretty large area, and it's probably almost like a 10-foot by 10-foot
dang.
map. It's pretty big. It's a huge table, big map. And there's, like little markers at different places on the maps. You see they sort of walk around the table. Tomas is kind of poking at stuff and knowing that you guys are here immediately starts like moving things around and, pulls out a drawer and gets a new little figurine out that is white, and he puts it in Fort Martalian. The fiery-haired elf knocks back 2 of the drinks in quick succession and just sort of stands over the table, arms crossed, and the human, Captain Domin Cassian, is asking a lot of questions of the admiral. Where were you? What happened? How was it? How are you? Are you okay? Just sort of checking. And she's like, yes, I'm fine.
Sibling
Domin,
vibes?
I'm fine. Make an insight check.
Golly. Yep, that's a 9 again, because I rolled a 4.
With a 9, it is obvious enough they are sisters.
When Lichen sees the map, and as we're walking out, can I try to say under my breath, Wayfinder, you there?
You hear in your head, yes, Captain. How can I be of assistance to you?
They got a map on this table. Neuralink up to my eyes and keep a record.
Neuralink. Zoom and enhance.
That's what Nathaniel called it when we first met her. Like it was a Neuralink.
Yeah. Captain, I'm not sure that I can see through your eyes, but perhaps you could describe to me what you're seeing.
I don't want to hear you can't do it.
Our boat can't warg into
I'll just take a note and try to tell it myself then.
Sure.
Later.
You notice that there are cases along the wall that look like map cases, perhaps that there might be duplicates of this map.
I think Lycan's thinking was he's very confident in all the water that is travelable that I updated the map with. He doesn't know a lot about stuff inland, and it just seems like they do actually have maps of that.
Yeah.
Tam picks up the little white figurine and just says, "Is this us?"
Yes, I figured it would be a good idea for us to at least honor your presence here. If, obviously whenever you leave here, we might not know your location, but for the time being, we try to keep track of notable ships or people who are our friends and allies. So, yeah, we keep a bunch of randomly sized and shaped and carved and different colors of figurines just so, whatever might pop up, we'll have something to represent them.
Well, all right, then that's very cool.
He kind of like hearing you like approve of it. He's like, oh, cool. Like he's a little feels affirmed by that and puts it on the board. And Lady Cassian stands over there's this one sort of chair at the head of the room that she goes and sits in, and she kind of says, all right, let's call this captain's meeting to order. I suppose I must make my report first. And so she goes into an account of basically the things that have happened since the start of the campaign. She describes arriving at Hermida on a transport ship with Captain Thistlecourt to sort of inspect stuff. Technically, Hermida falls under the jurisdiction of the Western Fleet, and being ambushed, essentially, and having to go and flee and hide, and then basically getting trapped in the ancient ruins below the city. And then you guys coming in and rescuing her, the escape, the business with the mind worms in Vastra, and then you guys going back to Hermida, rescuing Thistlecourt, and making your escape back to Fort Martalian. And Eulith, the fiery-haired elf, says, Admiral, are you saying that we may be in conflict with the rest of the Admiralty? And she says, yes, I'm afraid that's exactly what I'm saying. He kind of like cracks his neck back and forth, and he smiles, actually, and he's like, good. It would be good to take a few of them down a peg or two. Yeah, he seems confident. He's like, let's go. That's fine. Tomas looks worried, and Lady Cassian's sister looks at you guys and says, first of all, thank you for saving my older sister, who runs headlong into trouble and sometimes needs looking after. Secondly, what is your assessment of the situation? Is there anything else that we ought to know about that is going on? She would not have told them about the 1,000, 10,000s and everything else.
Oh, so she didn't even mention the ring or like why they were going to do the meetup or anything?
It seems like she's playing that pretty close to the vest. You get the impression she's not withholding that because she doesn't trust them, but because she's like, this is on a need to know
Got it.
basis. And in a sense, because she trusts you guys so much, she's like, y'all have the ring. In a sense, it's kind of y'all's thing now.
But she didn't mention that she was going to meet up with an emissary of the...
No. You get the impression that like Hermita was the stopping point on the way to
Got it.
meeting up with it.
I am going to step up behind Captain Lichen and put my hand on his shoulder and cast Enhance Ability on him. It's Eagle's Splendor, but I want to call it Pirate's Splendor.
Ooh.
And so you will have advantage on any charisma check for the next hour.
Lichen, you feel like a flow state like come down on you, essentially. Oh man, I'm able to like, jokes are coming to your head really easily. Like, you know those moments where you're like, I thought of this like perfect joke for this perfect situation, and you know if you say it, you know it's gonna be funny. That is how you feel right now.
Okay. I think Lichen steps up after Tam lightly pushes him from behind. Well, our assessment is y'all's outfit is in disarray. Some people want complete domination, others want to actually take care of those on the sea and those in the ports. Honestly, that's the only reason we even decided to help Miss Cassian here. She seems to be caring about the people underneath her, wanting actual justice for the people. My second mate Tam here and we've seen a lot of distrust and disunison, and a lot's going wrong. And I think it's time for there to be the civil war within the Admiralty. I think war is coming, because I think the sect that is using... we came across a ship of skeletons. We were actually shipwrecked before we met Miss Cassian, and we just so happened to be lucky enough to make our way to Hermita, and we found her, and thankfully we had a discussion before we just tried to slit her throat. Yeah. And so I think our next step is going to be a little bit indicative of what all of you have to say about what your next steps are. We're happy to help where we can, but we're not going to be any Admiralty task hands or dogs by any means.
You see Eulith, the large red-haired elf, nods approvingly at your words and comes over and just punches you in the arm. I like your words. We will stand strong together.
Yeah.
And
This guy's such a meathead already.
I was gonna say this after the meeting, but Red, I like you. We got to get a drink later.
yes, we will meet at the new old bucket and down 1,000 flagons of ale together.
I like it.
Truly, when they have open mic night in the future, they will sing songs of our night.
Open mic night.
So, what says the rest of you, Lady Cassian, Captain Cassian?
So Lady Cassian, the Admiral, stands up and she says, I believe your assessment is correct. I do not wish for war, but it seems that war is coming whether we decide to accept it or not. And so it is better to make preparations, as we discussed aboard the ship. I will be, tonight, writing letters and sending out missives and documents to different corners of the Admiralty. Not just to the Admiralty, but to powers beyond it, to try to make common cause, alert them of the danger. In ancient times, before the tyrant came, the Asturian Empire spanned across the seas and the lands. But those times are gone. And so it is time to find a different way, to make a different path, to relate to the peoples of the Glass Sea differently, not to the point of the sword, but through commerce and friendship. And those stuck in the old ways of conquest or trying to forge a new way through dark powers are misguided and dangerous, and so we must do all that we can to resist them. That is my command. Captains, ready your troops, ready your sailors. They may be upon us even tomorrow. We do not know. We will set sail within the week to patrol and to watch, to gather intelligence, and to attempt to build an alliance that will be capable of resisting the powers that are against us. They all salute her with varying degrees of enthusiasm, but they all seem to like be aligned. They're going to follow Lady Cassian's lead. Is there anything else y'all want to talk about with them? They start making plans of like, okay, we're going to patrol here. We're going to send these ships over here. Oh, let's send a letter to this person. You know, they're kind of just making plans that y'all are welcome to be a part of.
Yeah.
I think Tam would want to have made sure that Cell is provided for.
Okay.
And then make sure that these captains understand that we aim to misbehave. We're going out with the idea of hamstringing enemies and making more enemies and providing information to allies as well.
When Tam says we're going to be solemnly up to no good and making enemies, Lichen is just standing behind him, smiling so big, just thinking like he's come so far.
You see the red-haired elf looks at you, Tam, and is like, perhaps I misjudged you. You will join us too in drinking 1,000 flagons of ale. And he punches you in the arm as well. He says, spoken like a true sand elf.
Sand elf.
With that, make another history check.
That's better. 15.
Yeah, with the 15, you've heard of sand elves.
Ooh.
You've never seen one. They are sort of almost like mythical to you.
Mhm.
Like you're like, oh, like there's sand elves at the end of the world. And they're crazy, violent raiders. You've heard they live on sand. You've heard a bunch. You have some things that are like that can't be. Like seeing one in the flesh, you're like that can't be right. Other things are like, yeah, like they're pretty vicious.
I don't think
and
he's got
warlike.
fangs.
For long times, for centuries, they kind of lived on the southern fringes of the Asturian Empire, and at various, some groups of them would sort of assimilate and be a part of the empire, and some groups would like be raiders and bandits and be a plague, like kind of like I think Roman Empire, like the barbarians of the frontier.
Got
It's
it.
kind of like the Sand Elves. Sometimes they're raiding, sometimes they're joining the mixed bag.
If Lichen dies, dibs on Sand
Now,
Elf.
clearly, this guy has somehow joined the Navy. What was that?
I said if
Visual?
Lichen dies, dibs on Sand Elf.
Okay, yeah.
Called it.
Called it. It's on record too. We're recording.
No fair. Double stamped it.
It's an all-elf party. So, Lady Cassia will actually be like, yes, I of course understand that. Go with my blessing. Although, if your misbehaving extends to ships and people that are perhaps allies of ours, there may be uncomfortable conversations that we might need to have. As long as your swords are aimed at those who are trying to do harm, you'll find no complaint from me.
And I'm looking back in my notes. She had kind of told us she'd kind of given us a breakdown of who
Yes.
was and wasn't on her list of friends and allies and things like that, right?
So in general, the people who she's like, hey, you should at least like talk before attacking. Most of the Admiralty forces stationed in the colonies, which is on the same continent as the Kingdom of the Wood, they're much more like, hey, let's live and let live. We are one group among all these other nations.
Are they
There's a
the
balance of power here.
are they the peacemongers?
Yes, the peacemongers.
Okay.
And that's
Um,
Himina Aquil or Agwil,
Yes.
Yes, notes.
Camina and Jose are the two.
which is Jose Garcia. I
Admirals.
just wrote down Admiral Garcia.
Yes, Admiral Garcia.
Notes for the win.
Well, Lady Cassian, in that same vein, it has come to some of our crew's attention, if you will, that there happens to be I don't know exactly what y'all call it. We've been referring to it as a floating safe ship of the Admiralty. And to our knowledge, it sounds like it is being used for some of the enemies of yours in the Admiralty. And so we were planning to head over that way anyway. We might just, we might take a look at it. And if we happen to do that, that wouldn't belong to, a friendly Admiralty that you're aware of, or would you happen to know, clearly you're in the Admiralty, would you happen to know weak points or access points to said safe ship by chance?
She will say that she's familiar with the vault ships. There's more than one.
Ooh, I was going to say ships plural.
The vault ships. There's between 2 and 5 at any given point. But typically, the specifics of the location and the specific defenses are only made known to the specific admiral that is essentially over it. And she is not. Her fleet does not warrant one, essentially.
Okay.
So vault ships double both as they keep special items there. Sometimes they keep high-value prisoners there, she'll say. But the main practical purpose they fill is like a floating logistics supply depot. And so a lot of times larger fleets will have the vault ship sort of not within them, but set off at a distance, and there are kind of convoys going back and forth, picking up supplies, especially payroll. That's where they keep payroll for all the sailors that are human and not, skeletons.
So these ships are more tied to different fleets. They're not necessarily like a Swiss bank account
For the whole Admiralty.
Ah.
No. They're I mean,
I'm even
there
more
may
in
be a
favor of
situation
it.
in which, you're starting to realize, each fleet is sort of less... It's less like a modern military's fleet, and more like each fleet is, in some way, the private, almost feudal domain of the Admiral that commands it.
That's kind of cool.
It's not that they're all singing from the same hymn sheet. They're kind of like... Each Admiral sometimes collaborates, but oftentimes they go... might makes right.
But they're pretty autonomous.
Yes.
Got it.
The biggest thing that constrains them is the threat of force from other admirals. And in particular, once a year, supposedly, Lady Cassin would have told you guys about this, the College of Admirals meets to vote on stuff. But in practice, there's only 5 admirals that, really matter. Everyone just falls in line with one of them. And so, practically, they call them Lord Admirals or High Admirals. If one of them tells you jump, your answer better be how high, not because they're the higher rank than you, quote unquote, but because they have 10 times as many ships as you, and they can and they will come for you.
They'll make you jump. Got it.
Yes, at the point of a sword, off the boat, into a pit of crocodiles. So, yeah, she's basically hey, I don't know about any vault ships. If you hear about one, it's probably one of the enemies. So go take it.
I think as soon as she says that, Tam's eyes just get really big and he starts to grin.
And if there are any naval stores or supplies that you all are not going to use that you could perhaps recover, anything that you bring back here will enable us to build up our forces. So either monetary means through being able to hire ships and mercenaries, or the more that we're able to build up our power, the more that perhaps even less important independent admirals would be willing to join our cause.
Okay. We'll do just that. Don't you worry about that. Would you happen to... Is there any way that we could communicate while we're out on the seas? Or are there any... obviously, we just essentially declared war moving forward. So I know limits are tight. Are there any items that you might be able to give us to benefit us, for lack of better words, running amok on the seas for you?
She'll kind of wave one of the servants over, and he'll get a little bundle that he'll hand to Tam, and he'll grab one of the map cases off the wall and give to you, Lichen, that has a lot of the other information and intel that is on this big map. They have it on a small map. Lady Cassian's unfortunately, we don't have much in the way of magical items, and those that we do have are the personal belongings of most of the officers here. However, I can give you 2 things. I can give you a map that might have more information even than your ship's map has about current affairs, especially on land. The other thing I can give you is a flag of the Admiralty, which you can fly. Hopefully that will assuage some suspicion depending on the circumstances if you're trying to sneak about. So she'll give you basically a set of banners and flags that you can kind of use to dress up your ship. Obviously, Wayfinder looks really unique, so it might not work super... It's not like a disguise self spell, but
disguise ship.
Disguise ship spell, but it might like help from a distance if a ship like is looking at you through the spyglass. Oh, they're flying an Admiralty flag. It might let you get in closer. It might let you sneak by. You don't know.
We'll have the benefit of the doubt a little more.
Yeah, and she'll also give you one of those. She'll write a little letter and present it to you to be like, hey, if you encounter these peacemongers who tries to detain you, if you give them this letter, like this should get you out.
Okay.
Be kind of like a get out of jail free card, a letter of marque.
When you were talking about the, sending things back, I was like, oh, prize cruise. I've read too much Master and Commander.
This is now a 1800s naval warfare role-playing game.
We need a lot more officers on our ship so that when we get prize ships, we can send them back.
And we need to play a lot more whist. There's not enough gunpowder in this world for that. Cool. So yeah, they kind of carry on with their meeting. Y'all can participate as much as you want, but Lady Cassian's like, thank you so much for all that you've done. Please enjoy our hospitality. You're free to go if you wish, but you can stay and be a part of these conversations if you wish. And they just start talking about ship deployments and personnel and stuff of that nature.
All the boring logistics.
Yeah.
I'm assuming we'll leave, but as we do, I think Lichen just yells out loud as he's leaving, the sea should be free for all, and smuggling should be legal. And just kind of looks back real quick, see if anyone nods or anything, just as he's walking.
You see the sand elf, Eulith, downs another drink and smashes it on the ground. And Tomas is like, come on, man, we've cleaned up 10 of these today already. And he actually, you see him casting mending on the glass.
Oh my gosh.
Fixes it. Yeah, that's what you get.
Nice.
From that.
How did that guy end up in the Admiralty?
I don't know, but I like him. He's not like the rest of them. Had you ever seen? I've heard about him. I don't think I've ever seen one.
No, I've never seen one. He's just below the level of boogeymen. Nighttime, bedtime stories. Like I said, I was a bit disappointed actually that he didn't have any fangs, but I suppose that's reasonable that they wouldn't have them.
All right, well, I guess we could just get some rest. Do we need to explore this place, honey? We kind of have free reign of the place.
I'll defer to you as far as outfitting a ship. I must say, with the way that they seem to understand the way that the Admiralty is fractured, apparently that's been working that way more than I ever understood. I'm all for going and kicking the hornet's nest and trying to hamstring some of these other fleets that have caused problems.
Yeah, I also assumed the Admiralty was kind of one unified entity, but I feel like the more we're getting to know about it, the more they're acting essentially like head families, really.
I guess. Tam doesn't know what that
means.
Just like, if you say so.
Well, let's, I don't know. You want to go see what Vincent's up to? See if he's gotten any trouble?
I suppose we should do that.
Let's head over to the, what they call it, the new empty bucket, or the new old bucket.
The new old bucket. So yeah, you guys said the new old bucket. The sounds of making merry and music coming from inside. It is a small, short, long, low, almost looks like a warehouse with a deck out front, and kind of the end of it is on some pilings hanging over the water. And you see a sign hanging off the front that has a bucket carved on it, and you see a board below hand with 2 notices nailed to it. One says Open Mic Night Tuesdays, and the other one says Thistle Court Not Allowed.
What? Thistle Court Not Allowed?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Does it say why?
You see him standing off to the side, sort of sulking, smoking a pipe, arms crossed. Banned me from the bar.
Captain, what have you done to get banned from a bar?
Hello, sirs. Technically, I'm not banned from the bar. I'm banned from the open mic night. I don't think that they like some of the songs that I decide to sing.
Oh, were they a bit avant-garde?
No, I think they're crowd pleasers. Everyone likes them. Everyone on the ship says that I'm a really good singer. So I don't know. I really don't understand it. I think that they just have it out for me.
Are all of the people that like your songs direct employees?
Yeah, but that shouldn't matter. I try to cultivate a culture of honesty and transparency on the ship, and I feel like everyone would have, everyone likes my music.
I'm sure they do, except for apparently the people that run this bar.
Yeah. Yes, that's true. You don't know about the people on the ship, but clearly people on the bar don't like his music.
No thistle courts allowed.
I'll go ahead and duck
No
in and
court.
see if I can find Vincent.
Yeah, Vincent is playing a game of cards with several sailors. He's in the middle of telling a joke, and they all laugh uproariously. You see there is a lot of people in here. Some of them are wearing the uniforms of the Admiralty. Probably about half of them are just like town folk. Remember, there are fishermen, farmers, other laborers here who are just here to like essentially support the fort being here. Behind the bar, you actually see an orc.
Ooh.
With a shaved head. You see there are like tattoos on his head and neck.
Is this our first
and
orc?
one of his tusks.
I think it is.
It's not. Yes, it's the first orc of the campaign. Well, I think that there might have been a couple in Hermita that you saw. This is the first maybe
interactive NPC
that's going to talk to you guys. Yeah, but it's not the first orc that you guys have seen. Orcs are not uncommon. They're around. They're like people. They're more common. They're more common in some of the continents on the other side of the glass sea, but they're not like out of the ordinary. Especially in Asturia, there's a lot in old Asturia, the former heartlands of the Empire, and so there's a good number in the Navy, in the Admiralty. But this bartender clocks you guys come in and waves and says, "Well, hello there. What can I get for you?"
What do you got on tap? What's there to drink?
We have some ale, and we have a nice dark High Rockian stout for you. We have a couple other things. We have some wine. We have some rum. I can make a cocktail if you'd like. I don't know if you... I know you gentlemen just came from the fort. I sent a tray of some of my work up there earlier. And you notice that he's making a cocktail for a dwarf at the end of the bar. And he pours what looks like some sort of like brownish liquor in there, and he puts he gets out another flask and he pours some kind of syrup or something in there, and then he casts shape water and forms some ice cubes in the drink itself, and he slides it down the bar, and the dwarf catches it. And
I'll have one of those, please.
All right, coming right up.
It's so bloody hot.
Yes, indeed. And you, sir?
Yeah, let me get a rum and a cocktail, whatever you feel like making. Make it something new.
All right, something new.
Whatever you want. I'll drink it.
All right. He gets a pineapple out and just like cuts it up, puts it in with some different stuff, and shakes it up, and hands you this cocktail, as well as a little glass of rum. And he makes the same sort of iced drink for you that he made for the dwarf, and he says, "On the house, for the heroes of the hour. My name is Rock.
It's good to meet you,
Many
Rob.
thanks, Rock.
Welcome to the New Old Bucket. Open mic night is tonight, actually. If you'd like to participate, you're welcome to. We have a selection of instruments. My only request is that you don't play any of Captain Thistlecourt's personal compositions."
What made them so bad?
Well, he refuses to sing songs that everyone knows. He just insists on playing his own stuff, which is all very sappy and strange and emotional.
Oh, he's just nothing but downers.
Yes, that's a great way of putting it, a downer.
Oh dear.
Did he get his heart broken recently?
I don't know. I think it was a while ago, but for some reason, he's not really letting it go.
Yeah, that'll do it.
I think it's a mixture between that and he thinks that this is the way to be artsy.
Maybe not the place for that, eh?
It's open mic night. You're supposed to sing rousing songs that everyone can sing along to and thump the table and toss a drink back.
Yeah, not a place for pensive navel gazing, is it?
So you guys settle in. There are a couple sailors who go up and do open mic night. One of them is really bad, but he's giving it a good show. Like, he's trying. His mates are all like, cheering him on. There's another person who gets up, who looks like she's a townsfolk. As she's getting up there, a lot of people are like hushing everyone. Apparently, you kind of pick up she's like a regular, and she has a really nice voice. And the night goes on. Is there anything that you guys would like to do, or people you want to talk to? At some point during the evening, the captains come down and come to the tavern.
How does the tavern receive them when they come down? Like, are they well liked? Is it more fear or respect, or
make an insight check for me?
That's a nat 20.
Nice.
Yeah.
Critting on popularity.
All three of these captains are beloved.
Okay.
The sailors are like excited to see them, excited to share a drink with them. Each of them, like, different members of their crews are present here, and they you notice the captains go and buy each one of their crew members a drink. And not just like by the sailors, like the town folks that are here like the captains as well. Most of them know each other by name. It seems that they're like very committed to keeping up morale and treating people with respect. Yeah, so they're liked. Eulith sees you guys and comes over, claps Lichen on the shoulder and says, "It is time." And says, "Barkeep, 2 ales." And or 3 ales, because she sees that you're there, Tam. Or he sees that you're there, Tam. And Rock brings over 3 flagons of ale. The sand elf says, "It begins," and just like chugs the first flagon.
And we won't remember the ending. Down the hatch.
Tam just salutes, but kind of nurses his.
Pretty much immediately after, Eulith goes and puts his name down for the open mic stuff.
Oh dear.
Oh
dear.
So that's coming up in a little bit. But yeah, is there anything that y'all want to do while you're here?
I want to put my goggles on and see if Vincent's cheating.
Okay.
I had
Make a
the
perception check
same
with advantage.
thought. Like, I wonder if Vincent's cheating.
21.
Yes, he is cheating so shamelessly. He's cheating. But he's very sneaky. Like, they have not noticed. And it doesn't look like they're going to notice.
How much has he won?
He's probably won, like, it's not crazy. They're not, like, this is not the type of tavern where people are getting into, a really high-stakes game. It's, like, a couple gold.
I'll walk up to him and put my hand on his shoulder and lean in close to his ear and just be like, "Hey, Vincent."
Bonjour, mon capitaine. My friends, this is my captain. Greet him. And they're all like, "Hey," one of the sailors who's had a few drinks is like, "Do you want to join the game?"
Maybe in a little bit. I just wanted to give a quick word to my crewmate Vincent here, and I'll lean in and I'll just tell him, "Vincent, I think we're gonna make a run at that vault ship that you know about. So if you get more information, we'll probably head out sometime tomorrow, just so you know. And also, hide it a little better, man. Like, come on, that's sloppy. You know that wouldn't fly in the water in the city. You get caught immediately."
He says, "Yes, my captain, I will be ready to go tomorrow." And then he says, "And we're not in the water in the city, are we?"
Yeah, but I caught you.
Yeah, but
I thought you were better than that. That's all I'm saying.
Lichen is so petty.
Vincent's like, "Yeah, but who's getting away with it?"
You're like a couple having a quiet argument at a party.
Yeah, no, I mean, have your fun. Yeah, I ain't gonna stop you. I'd be doing the same thing. So
Vincent's like, "Yeah, I'm surprised you're not doing it already."
nah, are you gonna do the open mic night?
No, I'm not. Don't want to draw too much attention.
Oh, of course.
I think Bergen might though.
Oh. You come back to Tam awkwardly asking questions to Eulith about verifying, confirming or denying the bedtime stories.
Yeah.
So, you're sure you don't have fangs?
He just like pulls his lips down and like shows you. He says, "I have normal teeth.
Okay.
My
What
brother has normal
about
teeth.
howling at the moon? Is that a thing?
Only when we're very excited."
Oh, okay. Just Tam keeps thinking of very probably borderline offensive questions to ask this guy.
Do little wood elves drink tea alone? In-house?
Tim goes, well, some tea's very good.
Hmm.
There's lots of different types of tea. There's sleepy time tea, there's tea that wakes you up, tea that makes you calmer.
It is clear that the stories I have heard of your people are all
We're all
true.
true. Oh, no. I rolled a 13 insight. Am I offended?
A lot of so he's asked you questions back. Most of them have to do with tea.
Okay.
So I don't know. Is like having your identity broken down to like drinking tea offensive to
Tim's
Tam?
not offended at all, but he keeps trying to remind him that there's more to the woods than tea. You know, we're
Yes.
called the Kingdom of the Wood, and tea doesn't grow in woods.
But tea is of leaf, yes,
Well, yeah.
and leaf is of tree,
So far, so good, yeah.
and wood is of tree.
I think I get where you're going, and I think we're just going to have to...
The kingdom of tea. It's the same.
I think you're right. Kingdom of Tea.
Yes, yes, yes. Our finest philosophers have thought as such for many, many years.
Captain, you're not helping.
Bergen gets up to the open mic night, and he... Is it down? He sings a very sad song.
I thought so.
He sings a very sad song. And, like, everyone... Like, he's a stranger. They don't respond to him the way they responded to this court. Let me just make a performance check for him. Let's see how he does.
Tim has a look of just like a bad smell.
It's a 19. He got a 19 performance. And so I'll say the effect of that is no one's like happy. No one's like, yeah. There are like a number of sailors who like start.
This is like maudlin drinking songs now.
Yes, yes. And Rock comes up to you guys and says, "Your friend is killing the mood."
We'll get it back up. I'll go up next. Don't worry.
He's also had a bit of a loss lately.
So actually, next up is Eulith, and he says, "Tam, thank you for the invigorating conversation. Sir Rock, have no fear. I will save the day." And he goes up, and he just starts yelling, chanting something, and he gets other people to like chant along with them, like, "Drink, drink, 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 drink." It's less like an open mic song and more just like some weird dude that everyone kind of vibes with getting up there and like yelling a lot.
Like soccer hooligans.
Yeah, basically, but everyone responds to it really well. You know, almost instantly the vibes have switched back to being a little more on the rowdy side than they were before,
Nice.
but everyone's like happy again. So he kind of does his thing, and Bergen comes and sits with you guys and says, "How do you guys think I did? It was pretty fun. Maybe I'll try to do it again sometime. I've never been one for musical performance. I've mostly been culinary in nature, but I feel like I might have a good thing going on here."
Yeah, Bergen. I think you really connected with some members of the crowd for sure. I saw some guys really feeling what you were putting out there. How you doing, buddy? You doing okay?
Bergen, it was beautiful, but it was one of the saddest songs I've ever heard.
Yeah, well, you know, I feel like I just want to connect with people, and both in my culinary endeavors, I want to connect with people, but also in my, I figured, why not try, a lot of people are sad about different things, so why not sing a sad song?
A lot of people are sad about different things. Tam just puts his hand on his shoulder and goes, "Yes, they are, mate. Yes, they are."
And I know that I have a cauldron, but it's not quite as good as my old cauldron. And the old cauldron was rather special to me, and I hope that I'll get it back soon.
Bergen, I'm going to say this to you as a friend. It was a cauldron.
Oh, like it sits back in his chair.
You've got to be able to let this go.
Doing a wisdom saving throw. Bergen. He just sort of like 1,000-yard stares you and is like, "Yeah, it was a cauldron.
We're going to get it
It was a
back.
cauldron.
But deep down, it was a cauldron.
We're gonna get it back. Yeah. Yes, deep in the bottom parts of my heart. It was a cauldron."
What? Can I...
Like, he's like not really like getting what
Can
you're
I ask
saying.
you, why are you so attached to this cauldron?
It's just really a special one. It's just really
What
good.
makes it special, though? Like, again,
High quality metal. It disperses the heat rather evenly. There's a seasoning that's been built up.
So it wasn't given
It's
to
really
you
good.
by like your great-great-granddad's special chef cousin or something?
No, actually, when I was training for culinary school, I my parents dropped me off. We went to restaurant supplies store, and I got this one. It was on sale.
Okay, so if I'm being honest, I understand caring for something that's got emotional value. I really do. But at the same time, if there was nothing inherently special about this cauldron, don't you think you might be less sad if you spent less time thinking about this cauldron? It's gone, mate. We're gonna try to get it back, but it's gone.
I didn't say it's not special. You know, I've used it. I'm just used to it, accustomed to it, I guess you could say. It's just not like other cauldrons.
Tam's tolerance for the perspective on this cauldron is now rapidly dropping because there is no. It's just Bergen won't let it go.
Yeah.
Oh, like okay, you've got a cauldron now. Carry on.
Well, yeah. So you get the sense like the reason he's so hung up on it is like the thing that he's saying is like it is just better, and he's like. I don't know, like in a similar way to like how a craftsman would be like, oh, I'm used to this particular tool. Like that's how he's like acting.
Tam gets that, but now that he understands that there wasn't any
Sentimental
there wasn't any inherent specialness about it.
Yeah.
His like my -1 charisma goal now is to get him over this cauldron. Like you've got to get over your ex, dude.
Yeah, good luck. But yeah, he orders a drink as well and sips on it quietly.
Captain, did you put your name in the pot for performing?
Yeah, I did. I also put yours down, so be ready.
I'm not doing it. No.
Your name's down.
No, I'm not doing it.
And then they call Lichen up.
Yeah, I head up.
First off, what are you doing? And then what you want to do will dictate what sort of role I will have you do.
I basically want to essentially just sing a sea shanty, and I feel like everyone kind of knows the Weatherman, but I'll change it to the White Wake instead.
Yep. All right, cool. Roll. I was gonna say roll performance with advantage, but since you're changing the lyrics, I'll just have you do it flat.
Okay.
Like they get the tune,
And your
but they're
pirate
like, wait,
splendor
these
would
are-
have worn off by this point, I think.
Yeah, it would have.
No, I'll give it back to you. Like as soon as you say that, when Tam would have seen you putting your name in, I would have given it back to you. So you
I
do
don't-
have advantage.
I got a nat 20 on the first roll.
Yes!
Nat 20 plus 2.
The double crit on just stupid stuff.
That's insane. How do I want this to play out?
I would say that one benefit
That's
of the
great.
Nat 20 is definitely that Tam is singing along. Like there is
Yeah. Tam is singing
Yes.
along. You start, and something just changes. Like the vibe, the energy shifts, and all of these sailors and townsfolk pick it up, and they start chanting and singing and going along with you. And some of them are like getting up on tables and throwing their drinks in the air, and people are going nuts for this. It's one of the it feels like, I don't know if you've ever been at a party or a gathering where like the exact right thing happens at the exact right time that meets the energy of the people that are in the room, so that everyone just shares this moment together, feels this connection and camaraderie. That happens when you hit the climax of your song. Roll a perception check for me.
23.
As you're sort of doing this, you see sitting in one of the booths that previously was empty, you see a woman with she has hair that
good.
kind of flows out, that's looking like either being blown by wind or is underwater. You see she has eyes that don't have pupils, they are just a light with blue crackling electric energy. And she's wearing sailor's garb, and she has a tankard, and she is singing along with you. And then you catch that out of the corner of your eye, and then you kind of look, and there's no one there. And
What?
I'm just going to say I'm going to give you a point of inspiration. I feel like I don't do that a lot as a DM, but like the nat 20 with a perception check of 23, you saw Nima, the Lady of Storms, one of the gods, has like shown up and participated in this party, and you get a point of inspiration for that.
You sang so good, a god came down to visit.
It's not just that you sang so good, it's that like the party and the vibes, this group of sailors, like she's the patron of sailors and ships and pirates.
This was a moment.
Sea.
This was a moment.
This was a moment.
Yeah. And would I understand what I saw? Would I understand?
Yes. Like she looks exactly so the Cold Claw, the tiefling priest in the village of Vasra, he was a priest of Nima, the Lady of Storms. You've been in a chapel that is dedicated to her, and she looked exactly like the art, like the shrine depicting her did.
This is amazing. Okay.
Wow.
And then I'm just feeling it then. And at the end, I just yell, "Another round on me!"
They go absolutely bananas. They go crazy. Literally bananas. Like Brock is like throwing bananas out. Like people are catching them.
Oh my god.
Yes.
He's like, I have a new drink for you all to try, and they're all like going crazy.
It's amazing.
Yeah. So this party rages long into the night. Your crew's all there. Penelope, even Cell shows up. Although she's not, she just has a glass of water and kind of just like claps along. She's very low key. Kevel does not come, but pretty much everyone else does. The Cloud Elf is sitting in the corner, taking notes frantically on everything that's happening, trying to describe what this is. What can only be described as a once in a lifetime party. And as the night goes on, you all, people file out to their homes to go sleep. A well-earned slumber, and you all have a choice. There are guest rooms that they said are available at the keep. There's a few rooms in the tavern, or you can go back and sleep on the ship.
I think Tam would prefer to sleep on the ship or trance on the ship.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Sure.
I'd probably go to the ship too. And with just how Lichen's feeling himself, this might be a mistake because I don't know what you're gonna do, DM. But I think
here he goes.
I think he's gonna try to just like sleep in the ocean, like in the water.
Okay. Do you
Do you rocks in your pockets?
Attach yourself to anything? Are you just like snapping like in the shallows? Like what? Describe for me what you're doing.
Yeah,
please.
yeah. I think I swim out. I take a piece of rope with me, but I think I swim out a little bit just so I'm not like literally like in the bay where there's probably like gross muck or whatever. And I try to attach myself to a rock or something that can like I'm not just gonna wake up like miles out in the ocean alone or something.
Yeah, so if you kind of like walk along the island a little bit, like it's like a very nice sandy beach, clear water. You can have like a length of rope. There's some palm trees by the edge of the sand. You'll probably get 20, 30 feet from shore max if you tie this to yourself.
I think Lycan's just having a mindset of, okay, I know who my patron is, but I also just saw a goddess of the sea, almost in maybe a slightly negative way. He's like trying to chase that feeling a bit, and he thinks that if he's in the water, if he's in the ocean, there might be some type of more connection. Because I think Lichen desperately wants connection, even though he never says that.
Yeah, you fall asleep in the sea, and do you think this is something that you've done before?
Not for a night. I think I've taken a nap or here or there, but no, I don't think I've ever spent like the full night or full night's rest or anything out.
Cool. You feel the waves lift you and carry you and lift and pull and push, and you fall into a deep sleep, and you see. Make a religion check for me with advantage, based on everything that's happened.
15.
Okay, cool. You have sweet dreams. You don't have anything that is like crazy, but you spend the night. There are times that you sort of turn over and you wake up to like a light drizzle of rain that sort of just washes over you. But I'll say after, you don't have a as vivid an encounter with Nima, the Lady of Storms, as you did at the bar, but you feel like there is now a new power. There's a new tether in your heart to the sea. In some way, I feel there's something new. There's something different. You feel that there may be more. You wake up early in the morning and you see the sun rising. The water's clear. The weather's good. Make a perception check for me.
14.
You see off in the distance beneath the water, there is a wrecked ship, probably about 100 feet down or so, a little bit off deeper in the water. It looks to be older than, one of their ships got sunk. It's like an older shipwreck.
I'm going to go check it out.
Yeah. As you sort of get closer, you see movement in the shipwreck. And you're far enough away that you see it before you like get too close. You're not sure if whatever it is seeing you or, but there's definitely something that is not a fish in this shipwreck.
How far off am I from the White Wake?
You're probably at least a mile away. You would
Tim
have
is
had
on
to
the
like
boat, just
walk out of town.
Has anyone seen the captain? What are we supposed to be doing this morning?
Can I try to get a better view of what is over there?
Yeah.
Is it like above the water? Is it like walking on the wreck or something?
No, so the wreck is all submerged underwater.
Okay.
So there's no part of this shipwreck that is above. Like, you've swam out into the ocean a little bit to, like, examine this shipwreck.
Okay.
That's on the seafloor. You can get closer. There's sand, but, like, a little bit off into the ocean. There's coral. There's rocks on the ground. You could try to be a little stealthy to get closer if you want. Or you can approach out in the middle and, just see what happens.
I'm going to do stealthy.
All right. Give me a stealth check.
So the captain called me second mate the other day. I thought I was first mate. Have I been demoted? I'm talking to Kevel. Does that happen just any?
Second mate. Second mate is like a thing you give baby brother who can't really do anything good. He's not a real job.
You shut up, and I'll just walk away.
He's laughing. Penelope, Penelope comes and talks to you. Now, Tam, it's okay. Second mate is a fine position. I don't think that you've been demoted, just that there are certain folks on this ship who might have more nautical experience than you. And so, I wouldn't read anything into it. And also, I wouldn't worry about the captain's absence. A lot of times he just likes to go for a swim. You know how he is with the ocean.
All right, as long as somebody knows what's going on, because I lived in the woods.
I believe there's some more repairs that need to be done before we can make way, and so actually there are like shipwrights coming to do repairs.
That's been my point. As long as somebody knows what they're supposed to be doing, because I certainly don't.
Well, you just kick back and relax, and I know what needs doing, so I'll direct them where they need to go.
Okay, good. Thank you.
She kind of takes charge. What was the stealth check?
Yeah, I'm worried. 13.
Okay.
Get that sand elf ready.
You get closer. Get a little bit closer to the shipwreck, and you see the shipwreck is like something had stove this thing in two. It's lying the two halves almost on its side on the seafloor, so like things you could swim into the opening on either half of this shipwreck, and you see congregating in one half around something. There are 4 figures that look vaguely human. They have arms and legs, but the body looks and face looks like that of a large fish. And they're each wielding spears, and one of them has a big club, and they seem to be conversing together. But you're too far enough to either pick out their language or understand what they're saying.
I'm swimming back to the White Wake. 4 on 1.
Cool. Yep.
Nah.
Yeah. You head back. Do you think that you have seen? How much time have you spent underwater? Like really underwater?
Since I woke up in the morning, or
no, just like in your life.
Oh, so much. Okay. Probably even I think in our very first session ever he was jumping overboard for 20 minutes at a time, and
Right.
yeah. I think ever since whatever the point in time where Lichen realized he had these abilities, he's longed to be in the water almost all the time. He's a big water baby.
Yeah. You know that there are monsters that live under the water, but you also know that there are like intelligent beings like merfolk that live under the water. You know in general that there are 2 or 3 like basic types of sea dwellers. There are merfolk and tritons, who are both in different ways. You can communicate with them, you can talk to them. They're not gonna attack on sight. And then there are Sahagin, which are a type of like shark fish person. These 4 figures are something you've never seen before.
Okay. Yeah.
Some other kind of fish people.
I'll make my way back over to the White Wake, pull myself up, find Penelope, Tam, all them, and just be like, there's a...
Captain on deck.
Thank you. There's a shipwreck over that way, and I saw 4 fish-type humanoids that I've actually never seen before for as long as I've been out there. I think it might be worth checking out, but I don't know if they're going to be hostile or not. My assumption is probably, but...
All right, Captain, should we assemble a party to go after them? Not most of us, I don't believe, will be able to get underwater with you.
Yeah, but y'all, I mean, it's about a little over a mile or so out in that direction. I don't know. I'm not trying to take 4 on at once. I mean, usually I would, but I'm trying to learn, I guess. Looks at Tam.
Tam just says, well, I think that's wise, and Penelope makes a good point. If it's all underwater, I mean, no pun intended, everybody but you is very much out of their element.
Yeah, well, I can try to coax them to the surface, but yeah, you guys good to come check it out with me real quick? We don't have to take the whole ship. Maybe we could take a smaller ship.
I was about to say, yeah, surely the White Wake has a ship's boat.
Yeah, there's like rowboats and there's a ship's boat that they can send. They can give you guys. So who all are you taking?
I'm assuming Tam would come, right?
Yeah, I'll go. As a second mate.
What are you talking about?
When we were in the captain's meeting, you introduced me as your second mate.
Did I?
You did, and it hurt a bit.
Tam, that's...
Because listen,
okay.
I know I don't know what I'm doing, and I know it was somewhat of a joke, but did I do something wrong?
No. No, Tam, I have a tendency to misspeak. You know this. I still sometimes say your name wrong.
Well, that hurts too, if I'm not lying.
I've never been good with names. I'd have a tendency sometimes to mix phrases I shouldn't, and they just kind of come out wrong. And so what I meant to say was either first mate or second in command, and it just came out second mate for whatever reason.
Okay, and listen, I know that, we joked when I basically claimed first mate that it's pointless because I lived in the woods, as I've been telling people all morning. And so, but at the same time, I wanted to make sure there wasn't something that had happened that I had done wrong or that I had messed up on the ship, because I do want to learn.
In fact, Tam, and I hit the medallion on my chest. Wayfinder, please designate user Tam as first mate Tam moving forward.
Acknowledged. First mate Tam.
You see that this probably means more to Tam than it should have.
In the event of the incapacitation of Captain Lichen Ithalamuel, First Mate Tam will assume all responsibilities of the captain's position.
Tam's eyes get real big and he just says, I need to think about this.
Tam, don't you worry. I don't die very easily.
Well, no, but everybody thinks that. There's a joke in the Kingdom of the Wood that, somebody fell out of a tree and all the way down he just said, so far so good.
All right, well, let's go check this out real quick. It looks like the shipwreck's fairly old, and I don't know, there could be something useful in it for all we know. I mean, I don't think those 4 fish humanoid things would be just hanging out around there if there wasn't something worth note in it.
So you guys get in the ship's boat. It's the 2 of you. Who else are you taking?
I would say we bring Penelope would be my recommendation.
You want to give Bergen a break? Let him, I don't know, work out his issues with this cauldron. I was so worried when you asked him last night. I was so uncomfortable because you don't just ask a man something that personal. But it wasn't
it's a cauldron.
personal.
It's a pot. It's not even a personal cauldron. It's just a pot.
But I thought it was gonna be personal. I thought it was gonna be like, oh, this is, my parents scraped together all the money they had to send me to culinary school, and this is what they bought me, or, oh, this, is from a friend that died in my arms. It was a cauldron on sale.
Right, and so now we know he's being a bit ridiculous. Maybe that takes some of the weight off of our shoulders, because we maybe feel terrible that it got stolen on our watch. But now we know it was just my first cauldron. Okay, we'll buy you a nicer one. I'm pretty sure we've already bought him a nicer one, if I'm being honest.
Let's leave him. Let's let him deal with himself. Penelope, you that arm of yours doing okay?
Yeah, Captain, I think I'm ready for a scrap.
All right, Tam, I don't think you've seen her do much battle maging for us yet, so you're in for a treat. She's got some stuff to her.
I'm new to this whole pirate thing, but are we literally going out of our way to possibly pick a fight?
First off, pirate is a harsh term to use.
Oh, okay.
Privateers, rogue merchants is personally my favorite.
I do like that. That's a good one.
Yes, we are rogue merchants. This is just part of being a merchant. You find stuff on the bottom of the floor that could be valuable. They could, we got to get you a little more used to the sea too. These are creatures I've never seen before either.
All right, but sometimes just taking stuff from people doesn't always sit well. But let's go see.
Well, I'm gonna try to talk to him first, and also, I mean, we're still waiting for the ship to be fully stocked back up, and a couple of our crew went into the bar last night, had a good time. I think some of them are still sleeping it off a bit. So,
all right, you're the captain.
All right, let's go check this out, and we'll head out over there. I feel like Nathaniel's been pulling up monster stat blocks.
Really, the thing, y'all haven't taken Penelope before, and so I'm pulling up stuff for her. So it's the 2 of y'all and Penelope, right? Okay, cool. Sweet. So you guys get out there. Since it's a ship's boat from Wayfinder, y'all don't have to row it. It just moves. It glides through the water.
Oh, this is very nice. I thought we were going to have to row.
Yeah, no, you guys, you get a good look at the ships in harbor. After talking with the captains last night, you've known the very big one is Lady Cassian's flagship, the man of war Resolute. Uleth the Sand Elf pointed out his sleek ship. It is fast and looks lethal, called the Voyager. Lady Cassian's sister is the captain of a ship called the Confident, and Tomas is the captain of the frigate called the True Sight.
Very cool.
And then Captain Thistlecourt, his ship is called the Storm's Hammer, and there's a big hammer figure on the prow. So you guys sail out of the harbor. There's a few fishing vessels scattered here and there. You recognize the woman who sang last night on one of them, and she waves to you guys. They've got a haul of fish, and they have a few. It looks like they're checking some lobster pots too, some crab traps. And then you guys passed kind of where the fishing vessels are, and around the area where Lichen, you took a nap last night, and where the shipwreck to be. To your guys' sight, looking down, it looks like there's just it's far enough down that it's not like really clear. Oh, that's a shipwreck. It could be. There's just rocks and other random things on the bottom of the ocean floor here.
All right, I'll try to talk to them first. If they're hostile, I'll try to get them to follow me up closer to the top of the water, so you guys might be able to help out some. But keep your head on a swivel. I'll be right back. And like a diver, I just flip off the back.
the roll off.
Yeah. Yeah, so you start swimming down. You get closer in, and you see that there are a number of shapes still present in and around this shipwreck.
just gonna swim towards them.
Okay. At some point when you're a little bit away, maybe about 50 feet away, one of them clocks you swimming in the open water and points at you and gestures to his comrades. And then you don't know if some of these figures had been like out patrolling when you were here, but there's actually 6 of them now.
Uh-oh.
And so they come out. Some of them are wielding spears. 4 of them have like nets wadded up at their belt. They're not really wearing clothes. They're just sort of have gear. One of them has like a coral studded club that looks like it would cut. And they come out and they're pointing their weapons at you menacingly.
Okay. I speak Primordial, but I can't remember. I think we may have changed it to like Aquian at one point because you said that made more sense.
Yes, I believe.
That's what you talked smack to the acid fish just now.
I tried to. So I will attempt to start off by speaking to them in Aquian.
What do you say?
Who goes there? Are you friendly or are you foe?
They hear that and they look at each other, and they all start speaking to each other in a language that you don't know. It sounds like.
The second I don't understand it, can I use my action to cast Comprehend Languages?
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, I'll go ahead and do that.
That's great.
Can I see what's going on?
It's still far enough down that's like you can see like shapes and another shape, which you think you've tracked Lichen down there. With Comprehend Languages, you can understand what they're saying, but you can't speak their language, right?
Yes, I believe so. Yeah.
You hear surface dweller. Surface dweller. Who's the surface dweller? What's the surface dweller doing here? One of them, who's a little bit bigger, actually tries to. He speaks in Aquian to you. He says, "You come with us."
Now what for?
And you hear them in their language saying, "We will feed him to the fishes. We're going to feed him to the fishes.
Well, I'll start off by just saying,
You come with us."
what for? To the big one.
He he turns back to his people and says, "What did he say? What did he say? Question? What did he say? Insult. He insulted you." And they're not really grasping exactly what it is that you're saying, but then they keep saying, "We're going to feed him. We're going to feed him to the fish in the deep places. Let's take him and give him to the fish in the deep places." And so they start swimming towards you, and they raise their weapons, and it's going to be initiative.
Oh my gosh, I'm 60 feet away in armor in a boat. Oh gosh.
And
Let's go.
That is a good place for us to end our session today.
Do we have to keep the roll that we just made? Or can we roll again? Oh no.
Yes,
for
we're gonna keep
initiative?
the roll that we just made.
I rolled a nat 1.
17, so not bad.
So bad.
Hopefully none of them beat
Nice.
me. I got a
I
pretty good
rolled a
swim
nat
speed.
1 for a total of 3.
Oh, make sure you roll
Well-
for Penelope.
Oh my gosh. And we're ending with that.
What was it like for you? 17?
Yeah, 17 here.
Penelope rolled a 14, so that's pretty good. I imagine that Tam is just not used to like being
Nope.
one-on-one
Nope,
in a small boat. With her.
Oh, that's hilarious. I forgot about that.
Well, that does wrap us up, believe it or not, from here and across the glass sea. We hope you've enjoyed this episode. We certainly have had fun with this one. If you don't mind, give us a like, comment, or subscribe on whatever platform you're using to listen along with us. And let's roll for outro. Maybe I'll roll better this time. I got a 12.
Got a 15. This white dice has been rolling good.
17.
Dang it! Okay. So for parting wisdom, if you ever decide to investigate a sunken treasure surrounded by strange fish people, make sure to bring your friends and make sure they know what they're getting into.
Yes. Strength in numbers.
He's learning.
Strength in numbers and ability to breathe underwater, which we don't have.
Yeah.
Yet.